Monica and Peter start by creating the floor plan for their new home in Sweet Home 3D. They then import the model into Blender, where they refine the materials and textures especially for the kitchen and floor tiles, adjusting them to match the real-world dimensions and materials they found on the manufacturer's website. Next, they create realistic materials for the windows to complete the look. Once everything is set up, Peter positions the main camera to focus on the kitchen. From the View menu, he selects Cameras and then Active Camera. The camera view now accurately frames the kitchen, the part of the house that has been the most challenging for them, as choosing the right surfaces and tiles was not easy. Since Peter and Monica are using a low-budget computer, they went to the render settings and set the max samples to 50. Then, under Output Settings, they reduced the resolution to 40% to make the render faster. With great expectations, they went to the Render menu and selected Render Image. The scene appeared, dot by dot, revealing their kitchen. Everything seemed perfect. The sunlight streamed through the windows, showing their home at 9 o'clock on a summer morning. The room was illuminated perfectly by natural light, something that wouldn't happen so realistically in Sweet Home 3D. They saved the render by selecting Save As from the Image menu, so they could view it later. However, the kitchen surfaces and tiles looked too matte compared to how they appeared in the showrooms. To fix this, Peter selected a cabinet door. In the Material Properties, under the Principal BSDF shader, he set the roughness value to 0.3. This adjustment gives the surface a semi-glossy look with moderately sharp reflections. The lower the roughness value, the more mirror-like the surface becomes, similar to polished chrome or wet glass. Conversely, increasing the roughness makes the material appear more matte. Then, Peter set the specular index of refraction level to 0.5. This made the reflections sharper and more pronounced, giving the surface a more realistic and natural appearance. Higher values increase the intensity of reflections, while lower values make the material appear softer and more diffuse. Then, Peter increases the coat weight from 0 to 1, adding a clear reflective layer on the surface. At 0, the material looks flat, but at 1, it becomes glossy and varnished, like polished wood, enhancing reflections for a more realistic finish. They click on the floor to select it and repeat the same process for the floor tiles. Once again, they render the scene. As the image gradually appears, the reflections start to come to life. The windows shimmer on the tiles, and even the table outside is mirrored on the floor. Sunlight reflections also dance across the kitchen cabinets, making the whole scene look vivid and realistic. They save the render as an image again. To get a closer look at the kitchen, they selected the camera by clicking on its outline. Then, by pressing F3, they opened the command search and, instead of typing, chose Walk Navigation from the history. Using the arrow keys and mouse, they guided the camera closer to the sink for a better view. Then, Peter selects the sink, which shares the same material as the tap, to adjust its properties. Then Peter sets the metallic value from 0 to 1 and lowers the roughness to 0.05. The sink and tap will appear highly reflective and metallic, almost like polished chrome. The surfaces will clearly mirror their surroundings, showing sharp reflections of nearby objects and lights, giving them a realistic, shiny metal look. Once again, they render the scene. In the final render, the reflections of light can be seen on the cabinet doors without losing their texture and design. The sink, with its strong inox finish, clearly mirrors the corner of the kitchen, while the countertop remains matte. Peter and Monica have found the perfect way to evaluate all their possible choices for tiles and kitchen surfaces. Stay tuned. Soon, they'll explore how their home looks from morning to night.